Hey Mixers, welcome back to another college football video. We had a pretty good week last week, so we're going to go through that, and we're also going to jump into some of the early lines that I like for this week. There will be a lot of added plays in the pinned comment because not all of the players that I like for this week have lines up available yet, but we'll go ahead and talk about that. So let's go ahead and jump in. All right, we only had 2 people enter our cash giveaway contest last week for the college football video, and both of them missed. So one person took Justice Haynes with the moneyline parlay. The moneyline parlay did not hit. And then someone else took Devin Dampier, and I can't remember what their other pick was, but obviously Devin Dampier did not hit. So unfortunately, no cash to give away for the college football video. We did have a full sweep on our college football video last week, so that was awesome. We are doing 6-3 this week, so I think the tables have turned a little bit on our player props for college football from week 1, which was horrible. We had some bad calls, and then we doubled down on those bad calls, so that just didn't work out. Nebraska should have beat Michigan, man. They both played a great game, though. It was fun to watch. Nebraska lost, so we missed that one. Utah could not win at home against Texas Tech. Ruined our parlay there. And then Tulane and Wyoming got their butts beat by Ole Miss and Colorado. So we missed all the game bets. We're down 2 units on the game bets for the year because we missed one earlier, and we also made one earlier. I did all the math, and anyway, we're down 2 units for the year on game bets. I'm going to start tracking those from now on. And we're 19-19 on player props, but we've been really good the past 2 weeks. So Justice Haynes obviously had a great game. Josh Hoover had a great game, although he did not throw to Jordan Dwyer, his number 1 X receiver. He threw 250 yards to Eric McAllister, his slot receiver. So we got screwed on Jordan Dwyer, but we did hit the Josh Hoover. Devin Dampier just did not play well. Texas Tech was playing great defense as well. Kevin Coleman was not as heavily involved. He didn't really need to be for Mizzou to win that game. That was a pinned comment play that I gave out. LJ Martin has continued to go over his longest rush yard every single week. Josh Cameron barely got over his receiving yards, and he landed in the 60s, I believe. Dylan Raiola had a great game, and then Sam Levitt had a great game as well. Passing, that line was way too low, and they did it again this week, guys, so we're going straight back to it. The leans here did not do as well. Baron Morton under 260.5 passing yards. He got hurt in the first half, and so he was taken out. TJ Harden did not get there on the ground, nor did he get his longest run. And Sawyer Robertson over 294.5 passing yards. He only had 251. All right, let's look at the slate here. So TCU at Arizona State. TCU plus 3.5. I think this is crazy. If you can get this at 3.5, I would go out and bet it. I actually only got it at 2.5, so that's what we'll record it at for the channel. But Arizona is at home, so that is why we're getting this line. But I think this should be closer to a pick'em here. I think TCU is probably one of the best teams in the Big 12. I think TCU and Texas Tech are the 2 that are kind of going to go head-to-head, basically, for the championship here. I think Arizona State's a good team, but I think that they've dropped, they have not played as well as they should have played. They've had a couple weird games as well. I think this is a high-scoring game, actually, and I think TCU can come out ahead or, a narrow victory for Arizona State. So, yeah, I like the points there. Moneyline parlay, we're going straight back to the Utah teams, guys. You do not have to play these. I'm from Utah. I'm going to look at these every single week, okay? Brigham Young University over Colorado in Colorado. We're going to take that. It's a 6.5 spread. Kansas winning at home against Cincinnati, who has not played super well. That's a 4.5 to 5.5 spread. And then Utah to win on the road against West Virginia, one of the worst teams in the Big 12. Minus 12.5 is the spread there. So put that all together and you get plus 160. And hopefully that can make up for last week. All right, this is a bit of a longer shot. Syracuse money line plus 164. I think you can actually get a better number than me now. So plus 180, something like that. It's a 4.5 to 6 spread. So the books aren't quite sure what to do here. Duke has not played super well. I've not been impressed with them. And they're playing on the road. Syracuse, on the other hand, I have been impressed with. Their only loss was to a ranked team, which was Tennessee. And Tennessee has been putting up 400 passing yards on people. Duke lost their only road game that they've had so far to Tulane. I think both teams should be able to put up some points here. I just think Syracuse puts up more. And then my long shot bet of the week here is Mississippi State money line plus 245. You can get a better number than me. I think it's up to 280. I'm not going to rebet it, but I'm sad I missed out on that better number. Mississippi State is 4-0. The only time they were an underdog was at home to Arizona State, which was ranked 12th at that time, and they won. outright. So now they're facing a 15th ranked team at home. But this is, not the same Big 12 kind of softer. I mean, Arizona State, I wouldn't say is a soft team necessarily, but they're a softer team than Tennessee as far as, focusing on their defense, I guess. I don't know if Mississippi State can win this game outright, but I'm going to take the money here to say that they have at least a chance. Tennessee has been allowing quarterbacks to throw over 300 yards on them, even though they're winning the game here. And Tennessee's only loss was to a good team, Georgia, in overtime. So they've beat up on some bad teams, and then their only good team that they faced, they lost. Now, am I saying Georgia and Mississippi State are the same level of team? No. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that Mississippi State does have a chance here. Tennessee is allowing them to pass on them, and they have a pretty good quarterback. So I do think that they have at least a chance to win this one. And they have like a pretty good, scary defense. So I don't know if Joey Aguilar is going to be able to put up 400 passing yards like he has been doing on Mississippi State. All right, jumping into the player props. Let's go back to Sam Levitt. They're giving us another low line on Sam Levitt, so 210.5 passing yards. He did go over this only twice already. The only game that really mattered was the Mississippi State game, which they lost, and he only had 82 passing yards. I watched that game, and it was crazy weird. He was missing all of his throws. Some of it was due to the receiver's fault. Some of it was his fault. But they were surprised by that Mississippi State defense team. They were just not ready for it. Now they're going up against TCU, much softer defense to Mississippi State. Probably more like the Baylor team here, which he did go over this line against Baylor, 221 just barely. And they did, of course, win the game. But only barely, which I thought they would have won this game by more than that, in my opinion. Even though I know they were the road team. Now they are the home team. But I think this line should be 240. And I ended up laddering Sam Levitt up. So I'll show you what I did at the end. All right. Blake Shapen over 255.5 passing yards. He is the quarterback for Mississippi State, and they are hosting Tennessee. I just got done telling you that Tennessee has allowed quarterbacks to put 300 plus yards on them. Just nobody teams, sometimes. And so he's been over twice this year, but he didn't need to put up yards against these other, like Team 3 and Team 4, weeks 3 and 4, to win those games easily. And he honestly didn't even need to put up this many yards in the first game either. So the only one that he really needed to put up yards in was that ASU game where he put up 279, which was over this line, obviously. Tennessee is giving up over 300 to opposing quarterbacks and gave up 274 in another game where they didn't give up over 300. So, yeah, I really like Blake Shapen here. You can't find it on every app, but I did find it on 2 or 3 different apps. So it is available. All right, some leans for you. So Brennan Thompson, that is Blake Shapen's number 1 wide receiver, over 61.5 receiving yards. He has gone over this twice in the same 2 games that his quarterback went over. So I feel like there's a strong correlation here. If the quarterback goes over, Brennan Thompson most likely will go over as well. But it's just a lean for me because I do think I was looking at those Tennessee games, and even though they did allow quarterbacks to pass on them, they did force those quarterbacks to spread the ball around. They didn't allow quarterbacks to just hyper target their number 1 wide receiver. So that is why this is just a lean here. Garrett Nussmeier over 286.5 passing yards. LSU is on the road here. And I don't know if they can win the game. I do think they can against Ole Miss here. But he's definitely going to be slinging the ball more than he has had to so far this year. So he has not passed this line this year, which is the scary thing. But the only competitive game was the first game, opening game against Clemson, which now we know Clemson is really not a great team. So he didn't really need to pass to win the game. Also, the defense is kind of shown in that game, locked everybody down on both sides. But last year he went over 7 times over this line. And so I think in this big marquee matchup against Ole Miss, he is going to let the ball rip. All right, his number 1 wide receiver, Aaron Anderson, over 73.5 receiving yards. This one I have not bet yet. Okay, so I have bet the others. I have not bet this one, and I have not bet Brennan Thompson. So the 2 wide receivers I have not bet. I have bet the quarterbacks. Only reason why here is just because they could end up having to spread the ball around, and if that happens, Aaron Anderson probably won't get. He might get close to this line almost exactly. So that is what scares me here. is that he's not the type of guy that's going to go over 100 yards every single game. But in the big games, I do expect him to go over, and that is why it is on the card, and I probably will end up betting it. All right, some more players to watch. Jordan Tyson receptions. He has a passing line out, but it's way too high. And so I want to see what his receiving line comes in at, like his receptions. If we can get it somewhere around 5.5, I think I am going to take a shot on that. 4.5 definitely, 5.5 maybe. And then Josh Cameron and Sawyer Robertson are not getting lines yet for the Baylor Bears. Trinidad Chambliss passing yards line. We do not have a passing yards line yet for him. And then Joey Aguilar under if the line gets over 300. So right now it's sitting around 270. If it gets over 300, I might take the under on that one against Mississippi State defense that has shown that they can shut quarterbacks down. So yeah, I am going to keep my eye on that. And then we'll keep my eye out for the BYU players. Their lines are not up yet. So LJ Martin, either for rushing yards or his longest rush, which he's hit every single game. Bear Bachmeier, their quarterback, and Chase Roberts, their #1 wide receiver, who did go over his line last week. I told you you could look at that if it came out around 50-ish, and it came out at 55.5, and he did clear that. So those are the players to watch for this week that might be added in the pinned comment, or just some other random players might get added in the pinned comment as well. So keep your eye on that. I will try to post it on X as well if I do add someone to a pinned comment. From now on, I'm going to really try to also post it on X for you. All right, so here is the best bet summary. Sam Leavitt over 210 passing yards, Blake Shapen over 255.5, TCU plus 3.5 at Arizona State, but I got it at 2.5. Moneyline parlay, BYU, Kansas, and Utah. Syracuse moneyline plus 164, Mississippi State moneyline plus 245. And then the leans here are, the LSU quarterback and wide receiver, along with Brennan Thompson, Mississippi State's #1 guy. And then the ladder on Sam Leavitt. So Sam Leavitt's normal line was 210.5 passing yards. I did a ladder on him, so I bet that normal line. But then I also bet 249.5, 274.5, and 299.5. I just think that, so last week we just saw Kevin Jennings, who I think is, similar. I wouldn't even say similar. Like Sam Leavitt is probably more of a passing quarterback than Kevin Jennings. And Kevin Jennings did go over almost all of these legs. So he didn't hit 300. I think he ended at like 270, somewhere right around there. I think Sam Leavitt is a better passer than him, but probably doesn't have the weapons, to go over 300 consistently. So I took a chance on a ladder here. I'm not telling you to do it. It is a long shot, right? We're obviously getting big plus money for this. And I could be completely wrong, and Sam Leavitt has a horrible game, but he is at home. I expect him to be losing the whole game, and so that means hopefully, that he's going to be passing the whole game. All right, guys, that's all I have for you today. Let me know which 2 of the best bets that you like the most. If you want to, I will let you choose a plus money bet as just a single bet. You don't have to choose 2 if you choose one of the 3 plus money bets at the bottom, or you can choose 2 out of the 3 best bets at the top, and let me know which of those you think are going to hit. If the 2 you choose are correct, then you'll be in the running for some free cash with everybody else who also chose correctly. All right, thanks, guys.